Like COD was big,
In Black Ops 2 Zombies.
but Pokemon Go was bigger.
The Pokemon Go app went live.
Pokemon Go was big, Fortnite was bigger.
Fortnite Battle Royale.
If I can stick around and be in the space, I know I can adapt successfully. There was a market for this quite early on because I wanted to watch it.
For you to be able to make the content you're making, it's still, you have to know what's going on.
Yeah.
You can't fake it.
Could we make FaZe Alley 8? Like me and Ninja were like compared a lot. I was actually in the early group that became the Sidemen group, but I've always been very like just independent.
For anyone that doesn't know, you're here to play in the Fortnite Pro-Am. Hopefully by the time this goes up, you won the Pro-Am.
Yeah, come on.
This is stupid.
All right, well, thank you for coming. I appreciate it. Good
No
to see you,
worries.
Ali.
Yeah, it's good to see you.
We were just talking. I think we met probably 12 years ago at this
That's
point.
crazy. I couldn't remember if we'd met in person or not.
No, yeah, I remember. I have a really bad memory. I always
Yeah.
say it on the show, but I just have a vision of literally sitting like this in front of you,
Yeah,
in
that's
like some
crazy.
dark room, and me and Ray here, and we're talking to you.
That's crazy.
So that was back when you were straight in Call of Duty still.
Yeah.
You've had a long career.
I
was telling you a
know.
little bit too about me just going through your YouTube channel. Like I'm like, oh my god, the amount of videos this
a
guy
lot
made.
of videos.
You've
I
had
know.
different eras and stuff. So it's really cool.
Yeah.
I'm excited to get into it.
Definitely.
So thank you again for coming.
No worries.
I like to start off asking the guests like about your family background, your childhood a little bit.
Yeah.
So can you give us a little bit about where you grew up, what your family's like, kind of background?
Grew up like about an hour outside of London, like a really nice spot in the UK. Had a really like pretty normal, really nice family life. And my parents would go to church each Sunday. So me and my brother would go with them. And I had like these little like community of friends that I made from church, friends that I made from school, friends that I made from just the road that I lived on. So I had loads of great friends. And through those friends, some of them would like get into gaming, and they introduced me to gaming from like a very young age. And for me, gaming at the beginning was just a very social thing that I'd do with my friends. We'd hang out in person. So I had like great friends as a kid, really good family, quite a normal upbringing. And yeah, it was, I have nothing bad to say about my family, friends, or how it all began. I was very lucky.
Awesome. You have one brother, you said?
Yeah, one younger brother.
Okay.
And I always gas my brother up. Like, if he played as much games as I did when I was younger, he would have been so much better than me. He's better than me at sports. He's very good at just learning. And I've just happened to fall into this like route of YouTube and content creation. But me and my brother get along really well. So yeah.
That's awesome. Well, I mean, you've been doing this. You're a
Long
seasoned veteran.
time.
Like
Yeah.
15 years.
Like half my life I've been making content now, which is crazy.
And you're playing in for anyone that doesn't know, you're here to
Yeah.
play in the Fortnite Pro-Am.
Yeah, so they've done a few pro-ams over the years, and every time I've been a pro in this pro-amateur setup, where it's like a content creator that's pretty good at the game with a celebrity that sometimes doesn't know how to hold a controller.
Yeah.
The first one was in LA like 6 years ago, and I think I came 5th. I was really happy with that. They did another one. I think I came like mid-table, but now it's flipped. Like now I'm the amateur, probably the worst player in this tournament, like by a while. And I'm partnered with an actual pro, Mongrel, an amazing player from the UK. So everyone thinks we're going to come dead last. If we come anything but last, I'll be happy.
That's what people are saying?
Yeah, because I'm just so... I didn't have any build binds on my controller until like a few weeks ago, and the tournament is a building tournament.
You don't play build, really?
No, I play no build.
I
So,
didn't know
but
that.
I'm here, honestly, just like meet you, haven't seen in years, hang
Yeah.
out with other content creators, and like just have a good time as
You guys
well.
will have
So,
fun.
Yeah,
You guys will
yeah.
have fun. That's cool. Well, before all of that, before gaming, I know you said you were introduced at a young age.
Yeah.
I mean, like you said, for a lot of people, I think it's funny. A lot of older parents think it's like takes people away from socializing. But for us, we grew up. That's how we socialize. In
Yeah.
a way, right? Other than gaming, did you play sports? Any hobbies?
Little bit, yeah. I played the sports my parents enjoyed. So my dad loved golf, so he got us into golf. My mum loved tennis, so we played a little bit of tennis. And I still play them to this day. Funnily enough, golf, like me and my brother hated it as a kid. Didn't hate it, I think when your parents make you play a sport and you haven't necessarily picked it out yourself, you're like, do I really enjoy this? So we played a little bit as a kid, left it alone. And now my brother works literally for a sports like golf travel agency. And I still I love playing when I got a bit of free time. So really grateful that actually we did get into those sports at such a young age, because then when you pick it up again when you're older, you've got a lot of the skills already.
Yeah. Okay. Nice. So we see you on the golf course.
Maybe I'm not that good, but I do enjoy it. Yeah.
Okay. And you started your YouTube channel in 2006. So you said you're 31 now.
31 now. So
So that is
that's
how old?
19 years ago. I think I made the channel.
That's crazy.
So I was
you
like
were 12.
12?
Okay, wow.
Yeah, a friend on like Skype or something, MSN Messenger, was like, have you heard of YouTube? I'm like, yeah. And I think the thing at the time was like celebrities are making these YouTube channels. He's like, you should make one. I'm like, no, it's dumb. Like, what would I do with it? Anyway, he made one in 2006, but I never uploaded a video until like 2009. So I had like, I think 3 years of just never using it. So, but I did make an account back in the day.
2006 is so early, man.
I know.
You said Skype. I mean, Skype must have existed at that point. But
Maybe,
you know how
yeah.
old we are? Skype just got shut down.
I know,
This week
it's
it's done. Now it's all Discord. We used to be on
Yeah.
Skype.
Yeah.
Because I made my channel in 2008, which I felt like was early. So when I saw
Yeah.
2006 in your about
It's
section,
not many people are
I
older
was
than
like,
that.
wow.
Yeah.
So like me, I started when I was 14. So I never had a job outside of it. Is that the same with you, or did you have any jobs?
I had a little bit of a job. I worked at the place my mum actually worked at as like a receptionist.
Okay.
So like just letting people in, but I wasn't very good at the job, to be honest with you. Yeah, so I did a little bit of that, but apart from that, no. But I generally think the skills you get from actually working in a normal job are so important. And even though I didn't do it for that long, and I wasn't that great at it, it's just, I did learn a lot from it. So it was a short period of my life before I was in school at the time, before doing YouTube full time. So a little bit of a normal job.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's good. Yeah, that's something I say that I didn't have a job. I'm not like necessarily proud of that. I actually feel like I missed out on.
Yeah,
some of that
exactly.
stuff,
It's like a
through
lot of life
experience.
skills and learnings from it for sure.
So you were about 15 when you uploaded your first video.
Yes.
2009.
Yeah.
And it was just a random Call of Duty clip.
Yeah, well, actually, though, my first videos aren't on my channel anymore.
Okay.
So my first public video is a Call of Duty clip, but I'm like a Nintendo fanboy, and all of my friends back in the day that I played games with, we all love Nintendo consoles. So it was like Smash Bros, Mario Football, I think was actually my first ever video.
So British.
Yeah,
I've never even
Mario
heard of it.
Football, yeah,
I've never heard
exactly.
of it.
But I literally took my laptop that I'd bought and stuck the laptop. So you know, like the webcam at the top of a laptop?
Yeah.
I stuck that in front of my TV screen to film me playing. And I had to stand up to look over the laptop screen to see the screen as I'm playing to try and like make clips. But then I like privated them all. They'd like copyright music and stuff. But it all I was saying today to some friends who were asking me about it, like I just use YouTube as a platform, as a place to put clips to share with my friends with no intention of them being watched by anyone but my friends. It just happened to be the easiest place to put videos back then.
Yeah, because even in 2009, people may think that's normal to set up your laptop, but like nobody was recording gaming.
That's weird.
There was some people back then, like I don't even know if 2009, maybe that's a little early, but probably I think that's around the time Optic was created. I think around 2000, even 7. Hex was so early.
Yeah.
Also, but like very, very few people were filming, so it's not like today where it's like a natural thing people want to do. Even like you said, uploading just for your friends to see. That's like, and then years later your channel explodes. You got to go back. I wish I didn't delete. I deleted so many old videos.
Oh, like deleted.
Yeah, deleted.
No.
And I was like, man, I wish. I don't even remember what they were, but I wish I had them.
Yeah.
It was like, you're 14, you get all self-conscious of your content.
That's
I
the
should have
thing, like,
privated them. Yeah.
in school, like some of my close friends knew, and luckily within that group, like we thought it was quite cool. We played games. It didn't matter. But then when things started to take off in the early days and more people started to know about it in school, it was like, this is a bit weird. I'm like, but the potential's here.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So before that, like how'd you go from just uploading clips with your friends to like, I want to be a full-time YouTuber? Were there other YouTubers at the time that you found early?
Yeah. So back then I was watching Blame Truth. Do you remember him? He was like one of the first people to ever talk over Call of Duty videos.
Yeah.
And I remember he'd only uploaded like 3 videos that had him talking over him playing. And I remember messaging him on YouTube being like, yo, I've watched all your videos so far of you talking and playing. Can you please upload some more? Yeah. And he was like, yeah, I'm getting around to it. And this is like back in the day where if you search for Call of Duty gameplay commentary, YouTube would give you like 10 videos and that was all that existed. And I already as a consumer, I was like, I need more. And I knew that like there was a market for this quite early on because I wanted to watch it.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
That's like, I always say I was one of FaZe's like biggest fanboys. Same thing. I was in the channel comments. It's cool because you could interact back then a lot easier. You message him, he just messaged you back.
Yeah,
like,
I messaged quite a few people. Like Xjaws was big back in the day as well, and like you could actually get through to them, and people would read their YouTube DMs, like their YouTube messages. But yeah, I was watching everyone back then, and no one was making any money. but it was like you felt like you were a part of a community and within this space that felt quite cool, and people were excited about growth. It's all about like subscribers and views, and I love numbers. So seeing all of that growing and getting bigger, I was like, oh, I want to be a part of this.
So even from a young age, you just locked in on it.
Yeah, I think I felt the bug of like, oh, there could be something here. And it was very slow growth in the beginning, but I was in the right place at the right time for sure.
Okay, and what was your first gamer tag? I saw one of them with a bunch of X's and underscores.
Yeah.
Were those your first ones?
But my YouTube channel was Matrix.
Okay.
Which is just like a misspelling of like
Matrix.
Something like that. Yeah. And I just was like, oh, this is kind of cool. I'll roll with it. And then I rebranded because my name's Ali or Alistair. All my friends call me Ali. And then my second name begins with A. They were like Ali A. And then I was like, okay, I'll run with that. And I got a PlayStation. I was like, oh, what should I call myself? And I was like, oh, the X's look so cool. I'll put them at the beginning and the end. So it's like XX, Ali A, XX. That's what I ran with right at the beginning.
That was cool at the time.
Yeah. Everyone had like all these like odd letters in their names. Yeah.
On PS, we couldn't have that on Xbox. We can have the underscores. You can't have hyphens or underscores.
Okay,
so why was there any reason you're on PlayStation? Because like for us, Xbox was like the cool one.
Yeah.
PlayStation was kind of like.
I can't remember why I picked PlayStation. I think it just happened to be my friends in school all on PlayStation. And you got to remember back then that like there was no cross-platform gaming, so it's like you pick a side and that was
exactly.
it. And also I just much prefer the PlayStation controller. Still to this day, I prefer the PlayStation controller. So I think I just went with where my friends were, to be honest with you.
Makes sense.
And I remember being in like a science class, and these friends were talking about like Call of Duty and like they were talking about this search and destroy game, and I'm sat there, I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about, but these guys are so excited about it. And then I was like, oh, I've got to get a PlayStation. I went on eBay. Someone was selling a secondhand PlayStation 3 with like 15 games for like 100 quid or something. So I bought it, and then they had loads of Call of Duty games in that bundle. And then that got me into being on PlayStation because I started on a Nintendo Wii. I played my first ever COD on a Wii.
That's crazy.
It was World at War, and I was shooting like this with my hands.
Crazy.
I was in a clan as well back then. I was mad into like, it was like, can't remember what it was called. But I was in clan battles on the Nintendo Wii.
So funny.
Like, it was crazy, yeah.
I saw someone put I have like a Discord. Someone was posting Black Ops 2 on the Wii to this day. I don't think the servers are up anymore.
Yeah, I don't know if they are. That's crazy.
I just like, man, I never had a Wii, but I remember when it came out, I really wanted one.
Yeah.
It's so funny you started on the Wii out of all things.
That was the big console that I got on launch day. And as I said, like a massive Nintendo fanboy. And I think one of my friends bought me Call of Duty World at War. I don't think I was 18 at the time. And I was like a sniper. It was a whole thing. But like, yeah, that's where I began back in the day.
So World at War was your first COD?
Yes. Okay. So I didn't start on COD 4. I played it at a friend's house a little bit. But maybe it's because I started on World at War. But I'm like a massive Treyarch fanboy. Okay. Like I love all the Black Ops. I think you're either like a Black Ops person or a Modern Warfare person. Yeah. I love Black Ops. Yeah.
No, I'm split right down the middle.
Yeah, fair enough.
But there's some good games for sure on both. So did you start making content World at War? The first thing on your channel right now is MW2. I watched you do like a rundown 20-2 gameplay.
Yeah.
With the Dazzle, it looked like.
It would have been, I started so I did do a few montages of me playing on the Wii World at War. Obviously terrible, but like some like no scopes across the map and stuff. And then when I first started recording properly, it was like the Dazzle, which was like basically a video like VHS recorder that you just plugged your games console into and then talked over it just using a microphone. But I'd like wait until my parents have left the house. I was like talking really quietly, like, hello guys. Like just in case someone heard me like recording this video to myself, like what's going on? So that's where it all began. Sort of around the Modern Warfare 2 era. Yeah.
So you're whispering.
Yeah.
Like I had when I first joined FaZe, or like when I first got to play with FaZe members, I muted my Skype because they were all cursing really loudly, and I was so scared my mom would hear them. But like they knew I was playing in there, right? Yeah. Did people know you were making videos at the time, or you hid it?
I definitely hid it. Like I don't think
out of like embarrassment, or
just out of like my parents weren't that into me like playing games. The only reason I ever got games console is because one of our closest family friends, their kids like pulled together all their money and bought a GameCube. Okay. And I was like, hey mom, if they can have a games console, can we get a games console? So me and my brother put our money together and we got a GameCube. So like the gaming thing was like, they weren't mega keen on it. Okay. But I was just like addicted and loving it. So I was playing it more and more. And then for the making of the videos, I definitely didn't tell them. I don't even know how they really figured out what was going on. I think at some point they just like had heard enough of something. They're just like, he's doing something, talking about games in this spare room. I don't know. And then eventually when it came along to like getting a contract and actually making money through the whole thing, I needed them to sign it because I was too young to sign it. Yeah. Okay. So then they had to have some sort of idea of what I was doing, basically.
And when was that, do you think?
Oh, it was a Machinima OG contract.
2011, maybe 2010.
So early, yeah. Okay. Maybe 2011, 2012, perhaps.
So you were like 16, 17,
yes,
18 at the time.
And it was like a perpetuity contract. So like it was one of the ones where once you signed it, technically you were locked into that contract infinitely. It was like the most ridiculous contract in the world that I just didn't even get a lawyer to check over, that I just got my parents to like scribble their name on. But that's how I first started making a little bit of money, and it all took off from there. I managed to get out the contract and improve it, to be fair, but it was all a bit dodgy at the beginning.
Okay, then you became like a staple, in the COD scene for gameplay or tips, highlights, zombies.
Yeah,
so,
everything.
What happened? You went from just clips and MW2, and all of a sudden you're going through all the games, Black Ops 1, MW3, and you're making... a lot of us were stuck to montage, trick shotting. But you went the specific route of like tips and tricks.
There was all these niches, right? And I did them all. I did a lot of sniping, a lot of montages back in the day, but I wasn't that good, to be honest with you. Like I wasn't a great sniper. So I knew that like I was never going to make it just by trying to be in FaZe,
Yeah.
I basically figured out really early on how the search engine worked in YouTube. So I came across a video of someone that had uploaded a zombies video for the new map pack on Black Ops 1.
Yeah.
His channel had like 1,000 subscribers, and this video had like 250,000 views. And this is how I've always worked on YouTube. Find outlier videos, reverse engineer them, and see if I can do it myself.
Yeah.
And I messaged him, I'm like, why does this video have so many views? And I think he just straight up told me you could basically put tags in the tag section.
Yeah.
Where if you put quote markers either side of a word, it would turn it into a phrase. So let's say you were tagging your Call of Duty videos, you were actually just tagging cool or Call of Duty. You were just actually tagging individual words in your tags. You were never actually tagging the game name as a whole.
Unless you put the quotes.
Exactly. And I figured out that I could tag like whole words, whole like sentences together.
Yeah.
As soon as I figured that out from this guy, all my videos were #1 search rankings for all of these hot topics. So I was jumping on like news for the next Call of Duty. When the next map pack came out for Black Ops, I got a friend to send me a load of footage, and then I cut it down, got it out as soon as possible, put all of these tags on, and I suddenly was getting 100,000 views.
That's crazy.
So then I just saw this growth, and I was like, okay, I'm going to focus on news, like big tips and tricks and updates. And suddenly it went from like it took like a year to get 100 subscribers, and then like maybe another year to get like 1,000 subscribers. And then suddenly I was getting like 10,000 subscribers, and I was funneling all of these Call of Duty views and new viewers into my channel. And I was like, okay, I'm going to try and own this space as much as possible. But I remember I was still quite small relatively to like, you had X-Jaws, you had White Boy, 7th Street, you had like Woody's Gamer Tag, all these massive channels.
Yeah.
And the rate at which they were growing was so vast compared to me that like I was never going to be near them. And there were no stat-based websites at the time. So I'd go on their channel, write down how many subscribers they have, and write it down every single day and track how many subs they were getting each day and compare it to my own. And then I was just like, I'm going to gun for whoever's like the next channel above me, and then the next channel above me. And then it ended up being just me and T Martin, you may remember, who were like the biggest COD channels.
Yeah.
And then I overtook T Martin, and I'm like, well, I've got no one to beat now. Like I'm suddenly the biggest COD channel in the world.
Yeah.
And I just kept on riding that way for every COD, basically.
So interesting. Like you had such an analytic approach.
Yeah,
from
I love
the
numbers.
beginning.
Yeah. And YouTube is like views, subscribers, like likes. It's all these numbers. So I could like my brain like tapped into it quite well.
But like even to identify early on, first off, the opportunity, like you said, you felt like there was something there.
Yeah.
And then you do like that's a very unique story. Most of the people like myself were just like, you just throw videos up and you're like, like it's working. I don't know. I hit a cool trick shot. I got 60K views. Like I feel like I just fell into it. You said you fell into it, but clearly
I fell into
you were
it
a little more
like very early on, but then I was very strategic about how I can try and grow.
Super impressive.
So, and I've carried that across like all the games and everything I've done. Even to this day, I still use the same sort of like analytical approach to work out what I'm going to do.
I mean,
next.
it makes more sense now to see what you've done over the last 15 years because it can't happen by mistake, you know? It's really cool. It's really interesting. Do you have any of those like notes and stuff left?
I thought I did, and I asked my mum if she did, but I couldn't find them.
Oh man!
But it's just like it's just lines of numbers
cool.
written down day after day. So yeah, it's crazy.
Really cool. So at that time, if you're saying it was after you got partnered, so you must have started making money at that time.
Yeah, it was like the weird thing is the month I got partnered to make money, or like the month after I got partnered, everything started to blow up. So it was like such perfect timing. I remember my first ever check from Machinima was $2. I'd made $2. I was like, this is crazy. And then the next check was like a few $100s, and then it jumped up straight away. Like month 3 was like $10,000.
Wow.
And I'm like 17 years old in school. I'm like, yeah, this is crazy, bro. I'm going to go as hard as I can. This is insane.
So what do? You take that check to your parents and like, hey, like you have to at some point, all right, guys, like you got to clear up what's going on, I'm sure.
Yeah, I think luckily, I think through the church they knew that they were in, there was like, I think people within the community that had made a bit of money through business that had like financial managers to help them out. And very early on, like set up a company, had someone helping me, and like didn't really touch the money, just put it in the right place to be looked after. So had some good support quite early on.
That's
thankfully.
amazing. Yeah, that's very like it's very lucky to have that, and it makes a big difference.
Yeah.
Most people I've talked to have didn't know anything about it.
Yeah,
because again, it's so new for a lot of us.
Yeah, what do you do with it?
Yeah, that's really cool. That was before college or university.
So I never went to university. So it was like the 2 years leading up to university or college was when my channel started blowing up. Mm-hmm. And I remember you had to write down what you wanted to do. And I think I had like 150,000 subscribers at the time. And I wrote down, I was like, I've got this many subscribers on my channel. I want to take a gap year and try and see how much I can grow. And I think the teacher that looked at it was like, what is this? I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah. I'm like, trust me, like, I'm actually making money right now. Like this could be even bigger. Because bearing in mind, up until this point, it was all just hours outside of school.
Yeah.
And weekends, I'd like maybe see some friends, play some games, play tennis, and then just go straight back to my laptop and like do some more work. So I was like, well, what would happen if I didn't go to uni and just spent every hour of the day, which is what I did, just doing YouTube? Like what could the possibilities be then? And
your parents were supportive of that?
I thought they were at the time, but then apparently like my dad had like a not a mental breakdown, but like freaked out, like, really? What? Like, I was really good at maths. So I did like maths and physics at school, and like I wanted to go and do something maths related at uni. So like I was going to do a good degree, but I was like, no, I can't miss out on the opportunity that's in front of me with YouTube. So
that's good.
And it worked. So like they were supportive when they saw what was happening.
Of course. Yeah. Okay. I think that because a lot of people want, especially nowadays, like similar to your church, like I have a local community in our mosque that's very, so there's a lot of younger kids and parents will ask questions. And nowadays, everybody wants to be a YouTuber streamer. Yeah. All of them want to take a break or get out of school and go straight for it. But I think that gap year is like such a fair balance for you and your parents.
It was like a test year, right? Like if it worked, great. If it didn't, like I could still go and go back to university.
When you're that young, like you got time, which is great. It's good. I had the same thing when I moved to New York. I had 1 year kind of. I told my mom, hey mom, we just want to give me a year.
Let's try it. Yeah.
But yeah, a lot of people, it could work out, or something. You can also balance it. I mean, like you were doing, right? For a long time, you could do content in school. Some people think you have to like go.
Yeah.
It's just really time management at the end of the day.
Yeah. And it's so hard to learn that at a young age. Like even now, I think my best work-life balance has only come after having kids, to be honest with you. I'm like 30 years old. Like it's taken 10 years to get to that point because my ability to be strict in my time isn't actually that great, but when you're forced into it because you've got other things around you, it makes you do it. But that first year, I think I left school like 150,000 subscribers, and then by the end of the next year, I had like 1 million. So it's like, okay, this is it. I'm locking in now. Yeah.
Yeah, and then you basically, spoiler alert, never stopped from there.
Yeah.
Right? And like you said, you have 2 kids now. So like, I'm excited to talk about that because to go from that where you could dedicate your entire life to now being, you're married, you have 2 kids, you have a lot going on and you still have the same output, right? Yeah. There's a lot that had to happen for you to get here. So you mentioned at the time. I know again, it's a little different. We're both in the COD scene, but it's a little different. You ever consider joining FaZe or any other team?
We should have got you. This is interesting. I think one of you asked me to join FaZe.
Really?
I'm sure you did. I don't know if I'm dreaming. I wasn't sure if it was you or I thought it was Rain, because me and Rain talked a little bit back then. Yeah. And I went through my DMs to try and find it and I couldn't. But I think it may have been, weirdly enough, actually early Fortnite days. Like when I blew up, maybe during Fortnite, they were like, one of you, I thought, said, could we make FaZe Allier? Yeah. But I've always been very like, just independent.
Yeah.
Like I was actually in the early group that became the Sidemen group.
That's so crazy.
So like I was there with the guys that became the Sidemen.
What was it called at the time?
Oh, it was like, the chat was called like Trained. I don't know. Like it was so dumb, but it had like Syndicate, Tom Syndicate in it.
Wow.
KSI, Vicstar, all of us, like the original group. But I like being in control of my time. And a lot of the time back then, you'd sit in a Skype call for like 3 hours and then like try and cobble together a video. Yeah. And I just find that stressful. Like, although I say I'm not great at managing my own time, I'd still rather be the only one in control of it and not having someone else dictate where I do something or how I do something. So as great as the success is with like FaZe and Sidemen, I'm just so much happier doing me and being in control of what I do as well.
No, I mean, looking back, like I can definitely understand. And if I would do it in another world, I would not do FaZe, but I could definitely see another world where I'd want to do my own. Because there's so many pros to having a team and having people that you're doing it with. Yeah. But a lot of cons can come from it too. Yeah. I think you're right. That like unknown is... Yeah. You gotta just kind of hope for the best sometimes.
Yeah, exactly.
Very interesting. I mean, you've crushed it, obviously.
Yeah, it's worked out. It's worked out.
Do you have a favorite Call of Duty era? Because again, like I told you, I mean, we just stopped. Yeah. We had games like Vanguard or World War II. We just didn't touch it.
I forgot some of those games. Like Call of Duty Vanguard, I forgot even existed. I think like I just loved Call of Duty back in the day. And I'd play the game for like so many hours every day, live commentating every game, just like getting that video ready for the day. Like it was daily uploading, right? If you weren't daily uploading back in the day, then you were doing something wrong. And if you saw your views drop because you missed one day of uploading, like I remember I'd go to YouTube events and hang out with like other people, like Sidemen guys, and it'd be like 10 p.m. And they're like, let's go out somewhere. And I'm like, no, I've got to go home and upload my video.
Yeah,
and they're like,
your audience was in the US too, right?
Yeah. That's the thing, like quite US. So it was like, I could go home and upload at like 1 a.m. UK time and it was fine. Like still loads of people would watch it. I loved Black Ops 2 was incredible and Black Ops 3 was incredible as well. Okay. I think I kind of align my Call of Duty picks with also how well it did on YouTube because it was not only the game I played for fun, but it was also my job. Yeah. And Black Ops 3, I set a goal of trying to hit 100 million views in a month. And I don't think I think I got to like 88 or something. Wow.
Which, by the way, that's all short, long form.
Yeah, it's so different.
Nowadays, it's like, I used to be like, dude, I got 1 billion views on YouTube. I felt like it was a huge number. Now it's like,
the numbers
1 billion views is nothing because it's all short form and gets crazy views. Yeah, but so 80 million on YouTube in 1 month was like unheard of back then. Yeah. Especially gaming.
I saw the potential. I think I'd seen other people have like bursts of like uploading loads of videos. So like when every year when COD came out, I would upload like 15 videos in one day. Yeah. So I'd wake up, wait for the embargo to drop because often I had the game early. So Activision would be like, you can't upload any videos before this time. And it was like campaign walkthrough part 1, first multiplayer game video. I was probably prestige by day 1.
That's crazy.
Like best class loadout, all the snipers, all the kill streaks. I would just sit there uploading every single hour of that like upload day, of that launch day. And then for the next week or two after it, I'd do like 3 videos a day for like the next few weeks as well. So I couldn't physically really upload any more content. But I also like throughout the years, I've always set myself goals to try and beat and one of them was 100 million views in a month. And I was like, if it's ever going to happen, it's going to happen with this COD because I just knew it was an incredible Call of Duty. And then I did end up doing it not with COD. And then I've had to like set new goals and just like have something to try and aim for to motivate myself. Otherwise, I'll just get bored and not be as interested in what I'm doing.
Yeah, that's I think that's something I saw with a lot of people, even myself. When you hit a goal that you feel like you were never going to achieve, it's like it can quickly go downhill if you don't set new goals and you get comfortable. So what game was like the one that was the biggest pop? What game are you talking about that you said?
Black Ops 3
Black Ops 3,
was that was the biggest one. And I think after that, it started to like all trend downwards.
Okay.
But also YouTube changed, I think, because back
Adpocalypse?
then, I think it was more just the algorithm.
Okay.
So all my Black Ops 3 videos were like 3 to 4 minute free-for-all videos.
Okay.
Like I jump into free-for-all and go like 30 and 1, 30 and 2. Like I just love the game and I love free-for-all. But then YouTube changed to being like a watch time algorithm.
Yeah.
So like Smosh, for example, that were making like 2 or 3 minute skits. All these channels that revolved around like very digestible, like few minute videos just fell away to people that were making like 8, 10, 15, 20 minute videos. And I just didn't know how to transition to making a 10-minute Call of Duty video because technically the only way to do that was to put like multiple games together.
Yeah.
And all I'd ever done is just do one really high energy, great gameplay.
Yeah.
So I had like a turbulent period where I was like, I don't really know how to make a good Call of Duty video anymore. And those were like the years after like this high of Black Ops 3. And there were moments where I'm just like, oh, my channel's dead. I don't know how to make good content. And like, there was definitely points where Call of Duty fell away. And I was still trying to make videos. I'm like, maybe I should just quit. Like, I've had a good run. Like, maybe you should.
That probably thought comes a lot more often than people realize.
Yeah, it's just like, and also because I'm doing everything myself at this point.
Yeah.
So I never really enjoyed editing, but you got to wake up every day, think of an idea, record the idea. That could take 30 minutes or 5 hours. You don't know how good your lobbies are going to be.
Yeah.
Then you got to sit down and cut it up. You got to work on the music. You got to make a thumbnail, and it's like all of that is falling on your shoulders every single day.
Honestly, I restarted. I did a gaming channel like burner for fun.
Yeah.
Did like 100 days straight.
Yeah. Wow.
And the editing was killing me.
It's so
like
tough.
it's been so long, but I forgot how draining editing is.
Yeah.
Because the whole thing was like older viewers, and I had to edit it to give it the nostalgic feel. I couldn't do it. I literally would be in my computer like, dude, I can't do this anymore. I was going. I don't know how. Like when you're in that mode and you just made it normal.
Yeah.
Easy, but when you break out of it, it's so hard to go back. So what people don't realize, even all the tips and stuff, like all those videos, you have to be so dialed into what's going on. When I wanted to come back to YouTube, thought about gaming stuff, thought about Fortnite. I'm like, I know about Fortnite. I played Fortnite. Then I realized, like, dude, there's just so much that happens.
Yeah.
All the seasons and the chapters, like, for you to be able to make the content you're making, I'm sure you have a team now, which we'll get to, but it's still, you have to know what's going on.
Yeah.
You can't fake it.
No.
And there's a lot of time to consume and then to be able to take the information, put it in the right way. And I think it's funny because you mentioned that you're making like every hour you're uploading. You're like, I couldn't even post more videos if I wanted to.
Yeah, it's physically.
But we didn't even mention your second channel at this point.
Yeah.
Which by the way, he had a second channel this whole time. He's making all these COD videos on the other channel, Minecraft and other games. So
I can't remember when I launched that, but I think one thing that I've also done is whenever I've got too comfortable or like been too efficient with what I'm doing and I've built out some free time, I've just filled it with more work. So I think Call of Duty became so easy to make every single day. And I was in such a good routine of it. I was like, okay, what would another channel look like? I was like, the Minecraft space, massive. So let's try and get into that. And Vicstar, Lachlan, who's obviously here now with the Fortnite tournament, were all friends that I knew that had created these Minecraft channels.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, it's also a place for me to get back into the Nintendo games that I love to play. So my Morale A channel has like 50 Mario Kart Wii videos on it.
Nice.
It has like, obviously it got into like Pokemon Go and stuff as well, but it was just an outlet to put like more family friendly games on.
Okay.
And games that I personally just had a lot of fun making that would be really enjoyable.
Yeah, it's interesting because it has more subscribers now.
I know, it's technically my second channel, but I was saying again to some friends today, I was like, kids will come up to me because my Morale A channel's always captured a slightly younger audience.
Yeah.
Some kids will come up to me and be like, oh, you're Morale A.
That's
like,
so
and just
funny.
call me
They
that.
don't realize
it's
that.
Like, it's like the more is like the whole point. It's like an extra channel, but they'll just call me Morale A.
Yeah, I mean, it's super impressive. He has his main channel has 19 million subscribers, about to have
almost
20.
at 20, yeah.
And the second one has 20.
Yeah.
And it's like, from a YouTuber, I realized like his audience, like you will know more than anybody, but I'm assuming you have two completely different audiences.
Yeah.
Because the Call of Duty videos are probably all older now.
Yeah.
I know that channel is more active now, which we'll get to. And then this new Allier started off, like you said, with Minecraft. So did you feel two different fan bases at the time? Or how was that?
Yeah, I think so. I think probably the YouTube algorithm helped that if I posted a video on this second channel with my face in it, and you were a consumer of content from my main Allier channel, and you saw that thumbnail, there's a higher chance you click it just because you recognize my face. But the audiences definitely started to be quite split, which was really good.
Yeah.
And I think there's moments in my career where one channel's fallen away a little bit and I've just lost a little bit of interest, but the other channel's like surged and been really, really strong. I think having like 2 places to put content has been really, really good for my own mental health because like YouTube is like a 1 out of 10, 10 out of 10 system. And if you've got one channel that's like not doing as well, it's nice to be able to open up the analytics of another channel and hopefully it's doing better to think, okay, my life isn't over. Like it's just one bad video. The other channel's doing okay as well. So yeah, the audiences I'd say are quite separate. And to this day, the audiences are probably very different. Like a lot of people don't even know I have 2 channels, which is crazy.
So at this point, were you doing it all by yourself still?
Yes. So the turning point was Pokemon Go, which was 2016, which is almost 9 years, which 9 years ago now, which is crazy. So I think I'd already put like some Pokemon pack opening videos on my Moralier channel. Again, just exploring like more kid-friendly, fun content pieces that wouldn't fit on like a Call of Duty shooting channel.
Yeah.
So I'd already shared my interest in Pokemon on that channel before Pokemon Go came out. I remember tweeting like an early screenshot of Pokemon Go and saying, when this game comes out, it's going to take over my life. And it came out. They soft launched it in Australia. And I don't even remember how, but I somehow managed to change my app store to Australia in the UK, downloaded the game, pulled out my vlogging camera and went out vlogging, catching Pokemon. And the video just instantly did insane.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my God, this is the greatest merge of like self-interest in like Pokemon and this game where I actually get to leave the house. Whereas all the years previous, I was stuck in front of a computer playing a video game and like the views just being insane. And I was still editing everything myself. So I'd wake up at like 10 maybe. I'd go on Google Maps, try and find a park I'd never been to, drive to the park, vlog catching Pokemon in the park, come back home, have dinner. I'd say goodnight to my girlfriend. She'd go to bed at like, I don't know, 11, 12 p.m. And then I'd stay up until like 4, 5 a.m. editing and then put the video out at like 4, 5 a.m. UK time, go to bed for a few hours and just do that every single day. And I was getting to a point where I'm like, bro, I cannot do this. And someone reached out. I think I said in one of my Pokemon Go videos, like, I think I need some help editing because I was putting all this time into Pokemon Go. My COD channel just died. Like I just like, I didn't have the capacity to do anything. So I brought on my very first editor, Aaron, shout out Aaron, who's still working with me to this day.
Awesome.
And I'd fire him files. He was working like a normal editing job actually, 9 till 5, would come home and then I'd give him all my files and he edited it for me instead.
Nice.
So I started to get some help and it actually helped my output. And that was the beginning of like building out a team and not doing everything myself, which was good.
This is a life-changing, huh?
Yeah, man. Like I can't imagine doing everything myself now and just taking that step. And even creators that like today that are massive, millions of followers, like I was talking to that struggle to let go of that creative control and let anyone do anything. Like even just hitting upload on a video feels so weird to them.
Yeah.
But once you let go of it and realize that someone can do it and probably can do it better than you, it's just going to make your output so much stronger.
So you had like thousands of videos though before that point.
Yeah,
which is great.
yeah.
Like, I was telling you, I was scrolling through because I'm like, okay, I remember the Pokemon Go. I remember seeing LEA Pokemon Go. Like at that time, that was probably my peak at YouTube. Like I was as dialed in as ever. And I remember seeing the numbers and being like, oh my God. The first video, finally, I scrolled through, I think like 5,000 videos you have.
Oh my goodness,
But I finally got to Pokemon Go. It took me like literally 30 minutes of scrolling. That's how many videos this guy has. First one has 14 million views.
Yeah, it's mental.
Which is like
crazy.
Like maybe like 100 times your average before that.
Yeah.
And then, you know, for a while, you maintained a couple million views a video.
Yeah, so it was just huge. And like, I was putting a Pokemon Go video out every day. But the Pokemon Go hype literally lasted, I think, like 1 month. It was so short.
Yeah.
It was like a month of insanity. And again, I can't remember if I hit 100 million views then or not. It was close. But the game just started to die off. And then suddenly, Pokemon Go was like this thing I'd invested everything into for like a few months was suddenly slowing down.
Yeah.
And I'd go back to my COD channel, which had like suddenly just died because I hadn't uploaded on it and the Call of Duty was dead. And I was like, oh, now I've got 2 channels that just aren't really doing anything. And it was this like period of like, shall I quit again? Like I've had a good run. Like this has been good. But then Pokemon Go was huge in, I think it was like September 2016. And all I had to do was get through that 1 year for then Fortnite to come out a year later in September 2017.
You didn't even know what was waiting.
I didn't know. That was always what was in the back of my mind. that would stop me from quitting is like, I don't know what's next.
Yeah.
And everything I'd experienced showed me that the next thing was always bigger from whatever I was experiencing then. Like COD was big, but Pokemon Go was bigger.
Way bigger.
And then Pokemon Go was big, Fortnite was bigger. And it was just, if I can stick around and be in the space, I know I can adapt and like somehow capture this new audience successfully.
Yeah.
And I just managed to like keep on jumping between games that had enough synergy with my current audience. And I really enjoyed making content around. And yeah, it was crazy.
So, I mean, obviously at this point, you've been doing YouTube for a while. You obviously made some good money.
Yeah.
Was there I'm just curious from like an analytic perspective, was the CPM on Pokemon Go better? Like, what was that like?
This is so depressing to look back at. So really the length of a video is the biggest dictator as to how much like the CPM, which is like the cost per 1,000 views you can get paid. And like on Call of Duty videos, it was low. Like a few dollars per 1,000 views, maybe.
Probably like 2 on average.
Yeah,
right?
and like your videos are like 2-3 minutes long, right? So they shouldn't really have good CPMs.
Yeah.
My Pokemon videos were like 20 to 30 minute vlogs. Like they should have been making really good money. And I went back and looked, and I never put mid-rolls in those videos.
No.
So I lost probably hundreds of thousands of dollars from just not placing ads in my videos. I think it wasn't even not knowing, it was just like, it was frowned upon. Like if your audience caught you placing too many mid-rolls and they would complain about adverts, I was like, well, I'd rather not annoy my audience. I don't need to put mid-rolls in there. But the amount of money I lost from not doing it was so bad looking back.
It's definitely changed a lot.
Yeah.
Now mid-rolls, you know, I used to stuff them. I remember the F2 Freestyle, you know, they're from the UK.
Yeah.
They're really big. They did a collab with us and they came to our house. And I remember bringing up mid-rolls. They're like, what are mid-rolls? And I was like, are you joking? Like mid-rolls are where all your money comes from.
Dude, I never took advantage. Honestly,
so
like probably not until Fortnite. And even then a few years into Fortnite, like I was only placing an ad like every, like maybe like 7 or 8 minutes.
Well, now it's like YouTube doesn't even play them all. Back then they used to play every one.
Or maybe that's why it was more like a negative thing.
It was, yeah.
Dude, imagine I went back and spam.
Because you could put like the non-skippable too, which is like, you know, they're sitting there for 30 seconds and that one gets you way more money to it.
Crazy.
It's interesting. Obviously, it's funny to look back at.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. I mean, now when I open Twitch, I can't even watch a Twitch stream. Shout out all the FaZe guys streaming, but I just got a sub, I guess. I gotta sub, but I open it, 7 ads. I'm like, bro, no way I have to sit through 7 ads to watch the stream.
All the platforms I use the most, Twitch, YouTube, I subscribe to a service that like takes all the ads away.
Yeah.
So,
I don't have YouTube Premium. I don't have Twitch.
I can't live without YouTube.
Yeah, I don't know why.
Yeah.
I think I don't think about it.
Yeah. Get it? You'll never go back.
I think Twitch has like a turbo thing.
There's a thing where you can get no ads on everyone.
That's crazy. I don't know why.
I don't think they promote it very much because they'd rather you just subscribe to each one individually, but it's worth getting. Yeah.
I gotta get that. But at this time, would you be comfortable sharing like how much do you think you were making a month at that time at YouTube?
Oof.
Because again, this is a lot of output.
Yeah.
1 video a day.
I think
multiple channels.
Back then, I think Pokemon Go was like maybe around 80 million views a month as well. So
you never said the CPM. What was it? What was it?
CPM,
was it around 2?
I can't remember.
Okay.
It was probably like maybe high, like 3, 4. So like it was probably like 6 figures a month back then.
Okay.
It was really good.
Yeah, really good.
But it fell off really quickly. It was like this peak, and it was like, oh my gosh, there's a lot of money. Suddenly, all just fell apart, and it was like, can I ever return to that? Like, is that a thing that I can come back to? Or was it just like, you know, this one amazing month and that's it? So I've always been quite conscious of like the money I make won't last forever as well. Like, even to this day, I'm like, what if it all just instantly stopped?
Yeah.
Can I live off the money I have now and be happy for the rest of my life, just in case? I think early YouTubers have something in their head about like it could all fall apart at any time, but just doesn't like, that stops you from ever wanting to stop the grind, basically. You're just worried it may all fall apart.
Yeah, it's the best. That's the best thing.
Yeah.
If you don't allow yourself to stop ever.
Yeah.
The second you pause, it's really hard to get back. Have you ever been absolutely smacked in a video game? I know whoever I 1v1'd out there that's watching, you know how it feels. But you know how I knew where you were? I had a really good headset, and you didn't. Better. I learned very early on the importance of a headset, and my first headset ever was Turtle Beach. When you get a headset, you never go back. The game feels like a whole different experience. You hear people walking that you never heard before. You hear noises that you didn't know were in the game. It changes everything. With up to 80 hours of battery life and a very comfortable headset, and the industry's first ever cross-play dual wireless transmitter system, I could swap my Turtle Beaches between console and PC easily. So whether it's on Xbox, playing Call of Duty, or it's playing Counter-Strike on my PC, you could swap back and forth with 80 hours of battery life. You don't got to worry about it. You don't have to worry about plugging it in here and there. It's beautiful. Even better, Turtle Beach does not just make headsets, but they have literally everything. Everything from racing and flight simulators to keyboards and mice, controllers. They have everything at the prices that you can afford. Check it out on turtlebeach.com and use code APEX. Head to turtlebeach.com and use code APEX for 10% off of your entire order. After you purchase, they'll ask you where you heard about them from. So please support our show and tell them that we sent you. Get the ultimate immersive gaming experience today with Turtle Beach. So you had that break before Fortnite, last little piece before Fortnite, but you had that break trying to figure out what to do. You had an editor at the time.
Yeah, had an editor. We tried to get back into COD videos. We're trying to find like, I think Hollow Point, shout out Hollow Point, was like a big Call of Duty creator then. And he was great at taking like multiple games, like maybe like 10 games of Call of Duty and just cutting down all the funny bits. But that was so much more effort compared to like me just taking a single good game and making that the video piece. So it was like a struggle of knowing what content to do for that period. And then, yeah, I remember watching this Fortnite trailer and me and my wife wrote down in our calendars when the Fortnite beta would be dropping. We're like, let's play this game on this day and just give it a go. It's merging like Minecraft, like building with like a shooting game. Yeah. Sounds a bit whack. I was like, don't know if this will work, but let's give it a go. That day came, that day went, we never played it. And it was only when I started getting served some Fortnite videos on my YouTube homepage. And I found myself every night just watching like all these Fortnite videos. I'm like, this game is so visually amazing to watch. And like good players are so fun to watch. I need to play this game and give it a go. So I actually didn't start day one, but I started like a few weeks after.
Do you have that same feeling you had back when you were young? Like, if there's something here?
Yeah. I think I was like, the game felt so special to play that I knew that there was a niche here for content. And I keep talking about how like bridging that gap from like a 2 or 3 minute Call of Duty video to like a 10-minute one was so hard. And Fortnite just made that so easy because an average game of Fortnite was 20 minutes.
Yeah.
So your average video, if you didn't cut it very much, was 20 minutes. So you were perfectly fitting the YouTube algorithm. And like the viewership was insane. Like people would start watching a Fortnite video and they'd hold the retention to find out if you'd win the game. So this video game slotted into the YouTube algorithm accidentally as like the perfect video piece, and everyone was playing the game. So I remember I put out a Fortnite video and it didn't start too hot. And I woke up and like the views in the morning of the upload were like 3 times higher than the first hour of the upload, which is so unusual. Normally you get your most views in the first hour of the upload. And I'm like, what is going on here? Like this video is like hitting like the YouTube algorithm so well. And I was like, oh my God, this is crazy, bro. I've got to like get in on this. But I was only doing 1 Fortnite video a week early on.
Okay. Oh,
because it was still a Call of Duty channel technically. And I called it Fortnite Fridays, where like I'd upload 1 Fortnite video. And it got to a point where I'm like, I think a few people that were doing well in the space, like Muselk, who's like an Australian creator, was also doing Overwatch content. He was doing the odd Fortnite video. No one was like going all in and saying, I am a Fortnite creator.
Okay.
That what had been another creator at that point. And it got to a point where I'm like, screw it. I'm not doing Call of Duty anymore. I'm just going to go all in on Fortnite.
Yeah.
And it sent like ripples through my community that were like, yeah, they hated me. They were like, go back to Fortnite, go back to Call of Duty. Where's the Call of Duty content?
Yeah.
And I'm like, guys, I'm not really enjoying it. The videos don't do very well. I'm gone for now. I'm sorry, I'm gone.
This was like World War II Vanguard era. So it's
it
was
around then. Yeah.
To your point of Fortnite looking so nice and visually appealing, those were the opposite. It's like you're looking, like you don't even want to look at the screen while you're playing. It looks so bad.
It's so different.
And I know we got a lot of hate when we stopped doing COD originally. I mean, you did it for so long.
Yeah.
They had to understand. So my question is, why did you do your Fortnite videos on the main channel? You had that second channel built up. I think Pokemon Go and all that. Yeah.
It was just a synergy between it being like shooting games, to be honest with you. I was like, if you like playing Call of Duty, you're probably gonna like playing Fortnite.
Okay.
And although there was a building element, like it just made sense to put that there.
Yeah.
Which I do think was the right decision. So yeah, I just thought it was the best fit, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Well, now your second channel turned into like a reaction channel.
Yeah.
Which is like, seems like the meta now for Fortnite. And I know Courage does it. A lot of Fortnite YouTubers do that too. Cypher.
Yeah.
And I even was going through your most popular videos. It's like, those are even more popular than your Pokemon Go videos.
It's like, it can't just be luck. And I don't want to big myself up too much, but I think the thing I'm most proud of in my YouTube career is that I've managed to be really successful in multiple different like games and genres.
Yeah.
Like Call of Duty, Pokemon Go, Minecraft to a degree, Fortnite, and then the reaction space. And they're all like quite different spaces to be in as well. And again, this is where having multiple channels was just worked out so well. So Fortnite was doing insane. And then I used my Moralier channel to do a bit of Fortnite reaction content. So during the really hot like COVID months of Fortnite, where the game was massive because everyone was at home playing it, I'd also start to upload reaction Fortnite videos to my Moralier channel. So I actually had 2 channels funneling all these Fortnite views. And then the reaction Fortnite stuff started falling off and I just kind of left the channel for a little bit. And there was a guy called Quebblecop who did loads of GTA videos. And he suddenly started pivoting to these reaction videos. And again, this is me like reverse engineering stuff. He'd upload the video, it would do terrible. Like it would get like 10,000 views overnight, which I know is not good. But then I'd check the video the next day and it would suddenly be at like 50,000 views. And then the next day it'd be at like 200,000 views. And I'm like, this doesn't make sense. Like the video is really weird. He's just shouting at his camera, watching like a cartoon or something. Yeah. But clearly there's views there. Like he's getting a lot of views. And I was like, look, the only way I'm going to understand how this works is if I just give it a go.
Yeah.
So I found like a Fortnite real life blog or film that someone had shot, reached out and got permission and just sat and watched it. It was so weird. I was like, I don't really know how to react to a video. And I put it out and it did like terribly. Like first 2 days just did terribly. And then the third day, views started picking up. And then like 2 weeks later, the video was getting like hundreds of thousands of views. And I'm like, oh, this is a space I want to get into. And it's all about like trying to maintain relevancy in different spaces so that if one thing falls apart, you've got another thing that's going for you. So the reaction space has been very, so lucky to be in that space for the last few years alongside all the Fortnite stuff as well.
I think like it's a lot to learn from that. Like you never got comfortable, it seems like. Kept like, okay, how can I do better? Like a lot of people, especially at your point, you probably made good money at that point. You were, you didn't need to keep grinding that hard, let alone be putting in the extra work to reverse engineer still and all that. So it shows that I'm sure there's passion there for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
But
like,
also
I love
the
it.
drive,
But
it's it's very impressive. And I think there's a lot of people can learn from that are listening, because the opposite, you just, how many big YouTubers have just continued to do the same thing, watching it and just stop, it's just, I just like to play this game. I don't care, or I'm just comfortable. So it's really cool to see. You mentioned earlier that your goal was 100 million views in a month. At that point, still before short form, I think, right? You got 700 million views in 6 months.
Yeah. So in peak Fortnite, which was like April, May 2018, like me and Ninja were like compared a lot, which is kind of wild because I've seen your podcast with Ninja and I don't know the guy that well. I think he's earned so much more money than me, to be fair. Like he's just done insane things.
His numbers were crazy.
Yeah, it's insane. But from like a content perspective, he existed really heavily on Twitch with like hundreds of thousands of live viewers. But I was existing really heavily on YouTube with like, I think my peak month was like 200 million long form views.
On one channel.
One channel.
Wow.
And like, I'd only ever post my wins. He was obviously really good. People were like, oh, Ali versus Ninja. In reality, I was nowhere near as good as him. But yeah, I just had these crazy YouTube months where Fortnite was massive, putting out like a video every single day. If it was an update, sometimes several videos every day. Those months, I think, are like my highest ad rev months ever. And I don't think I'll ever come anywhere near them. Like, it was just absolutely insane.
Would you share the ballpark of what those are?
Oh,
I mean, you brought it up.
I don't like talking about money because it's just like, even my family don't know exacts, right? It's like I'm quite not secretive about it, but I don't want that to define what I do.
For sure.
It's like, and also the money I make, I don't really spend much of it. But like if you run some numbers, you can probably just work it out. If you take like a base CPM, times it by the 200 million views I got, it was a lot. But yeah, it was just crazy, man. It was crazy, and
that was a special time. Even to your point of Ninja, like Ninja had 20 million subscribers. Your story has been amazing, right? And you've done so much to earn 20 million subscribers. I'm not saying Ninja didn't, but he got it so quickly because of how good he was at the game, and how early he was to put in the content. Because you're right, dude, my friends that were not in the game, we used to just sit there and just watch. I never used to watch videos like that. I had to watch a 20-minute gameplay of him and Tfue, because it was just insane what they were doing at the time.
And they, like, Twitch streamers could also take content so easily. Like, they didn't really need to know YouTube for, like, someone on their team to just take a game, a 20-minute game, do nothing with it and just put it on YouTube, and it would float because it was, like, it fit the algorithm. People would just watch it, which is crazy.
I think, again, a lot to learn from you for people that want to be a streamer or YouTuber. Like, you're obviously very good at all the games you've played, but you don't have to be in the top 1% to make it. It's hard. That's the hardest thing to do, to be the best at a game. It's way harder. I mean, I think you've had the smartest approach out of.
Yeah, I think my skill level always sits within, like, not always, but in Call of Duty and in Fortnite, always sat within, like, the upper echelon of being quite good at the game, just naturally having put hours into Call of Duty and being able to shoot quite well. But I never sat at, like, anywhere near the pro level of a very top tier that would make me, like, a standout person, which is why I didn't stream. Like, I'd have really bad games and really good games. Like, people like Ninja are having, like, consistent, really, really strong games. So my time and energy, my idea is, like, how much time would it take me to make me that good? And would it actually have any output, any actual effect on my content? And the answer is, like, it would be a negligible effect on my content if I was, like, a lot better at the game. So there's no point in me being much better at the game.
Because at that point, you've already built an audience that's kind of, like, looking at you for information.
Yeah, it's like, that's it. It's like
trying to
news
learn
and tips, like carrying that idea over from Call of Duty. And I had a blueprint from Call of Duty as to what worked. And it was like updates, new releases, like focusing on this new stuff and carrying that blueprint over as being the guy that you would come to find out all your Fortnite news into Fortnite, basically.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I think it's like I've seen a few people that wanted to go pro, and I'm like, what? Like, if you're able to build, literally, it's you know, it gets exciting to think about trying to get better and just, like, focus in. I want to be a top player, but to, like, identify, like, no, I know this is my route. Again, you're writing down analytics. You're deeply studying it, right? I think it's again something a lot of people can learn from, because it's very easy to just want to be the best. Or that's from a creator perspective. I think, like, that's the best spot you could be in.
And, like, even now, like, if you see it as, like, a trend, it's like early days getting really, really good at the game. And then since, like, probably peak Fortnite, like, my skill level's just done that, but the views hasn't necessarily followed that trend. For me, it's like, I have less and less time each year as my personal life gets busier and busier. So how can I maintain the same output? How can I maintain the same quality of content without it necessarily being just playing the game a lot more?
And like I told you, when I tried to get back into Fortnite, like, you still have to be very up to date with everything. I don't even know.
It changes every week. That's the thing. Like,
you, like, read the patch notes.
Yeah, reading the patch, following leakers, like, being so integrated into the community.
That's all you. You don't have a team that helps with that stuff?
I do now, but for most of, like, Fortnite's life, I was the one that was mega integrated and still really am integrated into it. Like, even knowing what to make a video on is the understanding of what the community thinks of something that could be coming to the game or is in the game. So if you don't know that, then you won't be making the best content possible.
You still got to be consuming and reading and playing.
That's the thing. I'm still consuming a decent amount of content as well. Yeah.
Like I said, that's why I realized I just missed too much. There's just no way to force it. Even if you have a team, like, there's just so much that happened. So again, consistency there is so important. So what is your team like now? You started, most of your career, you mentioned it was just you.
Yeah, for ages. Like,
you get your first editor, it changes everything.
Get my first editor, and then what's the journey look like? I think I got another editor, Dan, to help me with the More Allier channel. So it was like an editor for each channel. And then I think I got Martin, who basically helped me channel manage the reaction channel. There's a lot of work that goes into, like, compiling clips, thumbnail ideas, and then I just started building out from there. So I think I've got a team of, like, 15 people now, which is across Fortnite, short form Fortnite content, reaction content, social output, channel managing, editing, and I could probably do with, like, a few more people. But the thing is, the more you scale, the more you have to manage. And I don't really enjoy managing people because it can take up so much time, and then it takes away. If you're not careful, if you pull in two people too quickly and they're not doing what you want to do properly, then they end up taking up more of your time and being less helpful than if you just did it yourself. So what's the point then, right? So, like, I have scaled sort of gradually over those 15 years, and almost no one's left me, which is great. Like, the people I picked up, like Aaron, like 10 years ago, still with me to this day. So I like building out like a small team that's really invested, that we all know each other, and we like grow together as well, which is really good.
That's amazing. Yeah. And are you like overseeing everything, or are they kind of like,
yeah,
can you like look away, or do you have to be on, are you still on top of everything?
I think it's more I put myself on top of everything when I don't need to. Like when I'm at my PC every day, like sometimes I micromanage a bit too much. But when I come here, like I don't check any messages and everything goes out fine. Like it's great. So sometimes I need to learn to take a step back and just let them do their job. But I'm always like, you know, as a team, we worked out the things that it is important for me to have a look at. Like the thumbnails I'm really particular on. So I'll always come in at the final round of thumbnail reviews and like tweak things a little bit. Short form content, I try and get eyes on right at the end of the edit because I'm quite specific on that as well. But there's a lot of things that the team can do without me doing it, giving any input, that I just need to step back and let them do. A lot of the beginning days, I was working every single day, every hour I was awake. And I started to take Sundays off, and I started to take half a Saturday off, and I took full weekends off. And then I had a kid, and I had to take like evenings off. So it's all been progressions in my personal life, have then pushed back the hours in my work life, but I've tried to never drop my output. So it's like the same output over most of the years, just crunched into like a third of the hours.
So what is your output like now?
We do 3 videos a week on More Allier, which are reaction videos. 3 videos a week on Allier 2, which is the Fortnite reaction channel I launched last year.
Okay.
Yeah, and then 2 to 3 long form videos a week on the Allier channel, and then 5 short forms a week on the Allier channel. So you're looking at like 12 pieces of content a week maybe
on YouTube.
So it's very doable, and like I time block my day in like half an hour slots. So I wake up and I know exactly what I'm doing every half an hour until I'm leaving my PC. And if I don't stick to that, I do fall behind, but generally it's so well managed that I know this video will take an hour to do, this video will take 2 hours to do. I've got calls with my team here. I've got like thumbnail reviews and idea reviews here. So it's just it's kind of sad, but it's almost like making the YouTube life more of a 9 till 5, because actually the more structured you are of your time, the better content you can get out and the better work-life balance I can have. And I think if I didn't take evenings off and didn't take weekends off, I'd be so burnt out. Yeah. Whereas I come back every Monday, like excited to make videos again. Like every week I love it. Like I'm addicted to what I do.
No, it's a great balance. One of the cons I always have felt from the YouTube life is that it never turns off. But if you're able to set yourself up and turn it off, that's definitely the best balance.
Yeah, I remember vividly, like sat in a restaurant with my brother and Claire, my girlfriend at the time, and I was just in a constant state of like anxiety, and like I'd have like heart palpitations, but like it was normal, but it shouldn't have been normal. And it was just like all I was thinking about was like, what videos am I doing? When am I going to make this video? Like, what's the thumbnail going to be? What's the ideas going to be? And all that pressure was on my shoulders when I was doing it all myself. And like, looking back, I'm like, God, that was so unhealthy. Yeah. Whereas now I can like shut my mind off. As you said, it's so important to shut your mind off from work outside of those work hours, almost just to like de-stress, decompress, and then come back in with a more active, focused mindset the next day.
I think building a team and doing that, like I look back, like I don't have regrets. I think everything happens for a reason. Yeah. If I went back when I just stopped, there's definitely was another route of like slowing down. Yeah. Cause I was always, if you don't do it every day, it's basically you might as well quit.
Yeah, that daily grind. That's it has to be that. Yeah.
One thing we didn't mention is like brand deals. For myself, I was literally maybe like 15, 16. Responding to emails, trying to figure out how to negotiate. Yeah. Like I didn't have an agent. How early? I know you're represented by an agent. How early on did he come on board? What is that?
Really early. Like I think we were doing sponsored deals and like promotional pieces way before a lot of people were. So I think I was the first gaming athlete in the world to be sponsored by Monster Energy. So this was like 10 years ago. Wow. And my manager Liam managed to like connect the world of Monster with me. So I was sponsored by them for a few years. And over the years, I've worked with Porsche, Lego, Fortnite, Warner Brothers, Paramount Pictures, Disney, all of these giant brands. So yeah, consistently working with the same team. They've always managed it for me for like 10 years.
Nice.
And to this day, like as soon as I had a kid a few years ago, I'm like, I'm going to start doing a lot less sponsored work, because it's stressful when you're having to put in additional time and additional work to do something sponsored that isn't your own content. But I found a nice balance now where actually I'm starting to ramp up the sponsored work a little bit again because I do have the capacity for it. But yeah, I was never doing any of that myself, thankfully, because I would have been lost. I wouldn't have known what I was doing.
That's also the problem. You need help because if you don't, it just takes away from everything. You can't. Some days you could feel like you could do everything, but long term it doesn't work. I remember Liam early on. We spoke to him in like 2014. We were like thinking about that was in the New York house.
Really?
Thinking about talking to him, but we never did. I mean, I still to this day never really had representation. I mean, FaZe had like a sales team and stuff at certain times. Really, it's really interesting though. It's cool. All of the experience you get from all of it. I think like it's so clear now for you. Obviously, you have this set up. You have certain people to help, but
it's a lot of building.
You have to struggle to figure that out.
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't always fall into place easily. Like even creators with millions of followers at the Fortnite tournament I'm at this week who are doing most of it themselves, and it feels like such a big jump to go from that to having a big team around you. But I've built it up really slowly over 10 years. Like even another Fortnite creator, McCreamy, who has 10 million subscribers, just quit recently. It's just like, I need to stop because he was doing everything himself.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, you just gotta, like, he's gotten to a point where he's tried to do it too long for himself.
Yeah.
And I think people get scared of slowing down their output just to be able to build people into their team and actually improve the structure around them. But it's worth doing because it will give you longevity.
Yeah.
Like when I started like 10, 12, 15 years ago, people were like, oh, what will you do in 5 years? YouTube won't be around. And I'm like, well, I'm going to act as if it will be around because I don't see why it wouldn't. And I'm just going to try and make this something that can last for as long as possible. And even now, like, I hope I can continue to do it for as long as I possibly can because it's such a great space to be in and I love doing it.
Well, you still have that passion. You told me off camera, I think it was off camera, but that most of your audience has and still been and still is from the US, which is nice. In terms of sponsorships, that's perfect, right?
Yeah.
Because what a lot of people don't know is a lot of the creators, for example, like I know some guys in the Middle East that have the craziest fan bases.
Yeah.
Hundreds of millions of views, but there's no sponsor money out there.
Yeah, it's tough.
I don't know about the UK. I'm sure it's a little better.
It's a little, I think US is the best.
Yeah.
And because I'm in the UK, often like American brands or American agencies will just work within the US. Now it's a little bit better. They don't really care who they're working with as long as it's reaching the right audience. But my audience has just predominantly sort of like followed the trend of like wherever the largest speaking English places are, that's just where my audience is. Versus I'm from the UK, so my audience is from the UK. Don't really think it works like that for YouTube content. Yeah, I think I uploaded my videos back in the day at like 1 a.m. UK time. Yeah. It didn't really matter because so many people in the US would be up to watch the videos anyway. So I've always had like an audience. It's just wherever English speaking people are, generally my audience will watch. But I've had friends and fellow creators. Willy Rex is like a big Spanish creator back in the day. He's been in Spain, but like the CPMs he gets on his video back in the day were like less than 1. It was so small. He'd be getting loads more views than me, and like so much less money than me. Sponsorship deals, terrible. Like there just wasn't much money in it. So the generally the speaking language that you're creating content around has a big impact on how much money you're making and the possibilities within that space as well.
For anyone that wants to be a creator that's like thinking about what content to make, I think that's something very important to think about. For the way that YouTube pays, but also sponsors, there's like no money in some countries. As much of the viewership is. I think Brazil's another one. Crazy fan bases, but just nothing. Like they get no money. It's literally, if you look at I don't know if you've ever seen, like I said, I have some friends in the Middle East, they show me their numbers, I just can't believe it.
Crazy.
I'm like the guys in America that get these views are making like millions a month.
It's so different. Yeah, it's so different.
So outside of that, you mentioned early on your parents set you up with like a money manager.
Yeah.
Have you made other investments outside of? What kind of investments have you done?
I mean, just strategically place my money over the years in places where it's like, where I'm just not going to touch it, and had my money managed financially by teams where over the years it's just slowly making money and it's just been in pots put away. Recently started doing like more like venture fund, like direct investments into different companies where companies either come to me and are like, we want some money for like equity within what we're working on. These are like super high risk like things, by the way, like worth noting. But me and the financial team I've been working with for so many years have like put this mini team together to basically just do these direct investments more recently, which I find really fun, where you're kind of investing into the future.
Yeah.
So it's like, for example, company comes along, could be seed round investments. They're valued at like $10 million, for example. you put $500,000 in, you'll get 5%. Hopefully that's quick maths, but like you basically own part of that company, right? And assuming they don't do any more rounds and of investments, and you keep that 5% equity. If they then exited and sold at like $100 million, you 10x that money you put in. So your $500,000 is suddenly $5 million. That's the theory of it. But we basically go around and do it where if there's synergy between the company that wants some money and what I'm just doing as a content creator online, but as a way that I can not only put some money in, get some equity, but also promote the product and grow it organically. So I'm doing a lot of that behind the scenes as well, which definitely takes up a lot of time. You got to do a lot of calls, you got to do a lot of investigation into, you know, could this be the next big thing? Could it grow? And I got to accept that a lot of money I put into these companies will just go to nothing. Like I'll just lose all the money. But as long as I'm enjoying the journey of trying to work with them and help them grow, hopefully some of these will come out really successful, which would be amazing. Some of them even are like just fellow content creators. I don't know if I can mention them, so I won't, but like people that have been even within the Fortnite space that made videos back in the day that stepped away and have started building these amazing tech companies. Like I know them behind the scenes. I've been working with them, helping them grow, which is super, super exciting. So yeah, I could talk a lot about that, but
do you have any things you've invested in that you can share? Any
it's
products?
all quite early. So a lot of them are like still, you may not have heard of them, like still quite early days. Some of them is like a phone recycling tech company and refurbishment company in the UK, Reboxed, who are really, really cool. So put some money into them, for example. There's all these like generally sit within the tech space.
Okay.
So it's a case of like being with them quite early on in their journey and trying to help them for a journey that will probably go on for many, many years. You're not about to see some return really, really quickly. So yeah, I enjoy doing that in my spare time alongside making videos as well. So I'm fortunate enough to have a pool of cash, and like the pressure is when you've got money is like, well, you got to work on that money, right? You can't just sit there doing nothing. And I don't really spend it, to be honest with you. So I want to make sure that it's trending upwards and working away from me behind the scenes because I've worked hard to make it. So I want it to work hard back for me as well.
Amazing. You also, in Fortnite, you were actually very early. You got a Fortnite iCloud skin.
Yeah, the craziest thing ever, man. So sick. For peak of like what I've done in my career was just, I was so excited about it. It's amazing.
That was like 2022.
22 now, almost, I think over 3 years ago now, which is crazy.
Which is it is early. That was early, I think, comparative to like, you know, now we've seen Cypher recently and Clicks, and I interviewed Ninja, who also was one of the first ones in Cypher. So you're the third guy that has one. But what was your story like? Theirs were fun to listen to. And
so there was the first 5 icon creators. They generally do it in waves of 5 creators, I think.
Okay.
So Ninja was the very first one within that first wave. It was Ninja, Gref G, Loserfruit, Lachlan, and I think Laserbeam. So 5 in the first wave. And then the second wave included me, Cheque. We had Booger in between actually because he was a World Cup champion. Me, Cheque, Cypher PK, Blake's Powers from Brazil, and maybe someone else, I can't remember, but we were in like the next wave of icon creators, and you don't know who else is going to release around you. So I didn't know Cheque was coming out before me. I didn't know Cypher was going to come out straight after me.
Did you know they were working on them?
No, they wouldn't tell me. They
told me it was like a year process.
It was long. I think it's like a year and a half from being told you're getting the skin for it to actually come together. And it got pushed back a few times as well. But it was so fun. Like when they told me I was getting a skin, I made them a presentation of what I wanted my skin and everything to look like, which I think they appreciated because they had really clear direction to just go and run with it. Whereas a lot of creators were like, I have no idea. So Epic had to go away and try and create it themselves. And I think because I told them what I wanted, we had a lot of time to refine what it was. And every time they'd come back with like artwork or anything, I'd sit down at my setup and like record them a YouTube video of what I thought about it. I was so detailed. And they loved it. Like I think it created a really refined product of what I wanted my icon release to be. And I was really structured with how I wanted the release period to be, how we would build up hype. I basically got my team at the time to make a Fortnite map which revealed my icon skin. There was like a live event for the reveal of my icon skin in Fortnite, which no one had done before. It was like this big screen, and it had like an outline of my skin. And then when the timer hit 0, the actual skin appeared. I think it was like 80, 100,000 people in the map at the time watching it.
Wow.
And then at the same time, I was live streaming on YouTube that premiered the video that basically explained everything that was in my icon set. And that was just crazy. Like, it was such a fun period. Every time an email came through from Epic Games, it was just so exciting to see what they built me. And they gave me a lot. I was really fortunate. I think my skin is the most amount of styles of any icon skin ever.
Awesome.
So I got very lucky. They gave me a lot. Yeah.
That's awesome. And do they share any revenue on the actual skin, or is it just item shop usage?
I don't know if I can tell you how they give you money, but basically the main thing for any creator is your creator code.
Yeah.
So you basically, and you'll see it with all the other creators, just want to push your code as hard as possible.
Yeah.
Because your code usage during the period at which your skin comes out, and whenever it comes out afterwards as well, is the main driver as to how you get your revenue for your skin being in the shop. So
the code,
technically, if someone has my code entered, they could buy my skin in the shop, or they could buy anything else in the shop, and I still see some kickback from that. So it's basically just push your code as hard as possible when your skin comes out. That's the big thing.
Now I'm remembering, because I bothered Ali a couple months ago. I told you my nephew is a big fan. Who actually just walked in. And I remember you told him in the video, use code AliA. And I was like, hey.
Oh, really?
No, code Apex. And I asked him, hey, what code do you use? He's like, Apex. I'm like, no, you don't. Use AliA.
Yes, use code AliA.
It's okay. We'll let him use code AliA.
Yeah, it's a massive thing. Like, using like a creator code is free for the user, gives you 5% of anything that's being bought in the shop to the creator, which is insane. Epic even do that. And it's like, some people just live off of like being able to promote their code so well that they get enough money to do that.
Fortnite is like, every time, especially I talk to a Fortnite creator, I'm just like, can't believe the amount of money they've put into people's pockets.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Literally, they didn't have to for so much of the stuff they do, and I keep saying that. And map making is one of the other things. People have made unbelievable amount of money on the map making. Have you ever dabbled in map making? Because I know it's not that easy. Also, everyone thinks, you know, you got a couple million subscribers and you can make a map, but it's really like very few people have created a successful one.
It's very competitive now. I think I don't have any regrets, because where I am now in life, I wouldn't change a single thing, right? And if something changed, maybe I wouldn't have my wife, maybe I wouldn't have my kids, you know, I wouldn't be in the position I'm in. But the only regret I have is I made a Fortnite team, like a creative map team, before very early on. So the money you'd make from the maps wasn't very high, even though your player count was quite good. So it was very early days of like making maps in Fortnite. And we just split the revenue between all four of us. So it was me and 3 map makers. And the money wasn't that crazy. We were building really cool maps. It had a good amount of players. And then my son was born, and I actually wanted to transition away from Fortnite. I didn't like the fact that I was tied to Fortnite every week with all the updates. My More AliA channel and all the reaction videos were flying. I was like, I can just live off of like this timeless content from the More AliA channel. I was like, the one thing that's tying me to Fortnite is my team, my Fortnite creative team. And I just never quite put enough energy into the team. I wish I had. I did another project at the same time, which was called Future, where I basically launched like a YouTube show where we were trying to find the next big gaming creator. And that just took up so much of my time. I was on calls from like 7 a.m. in the morning to like 8 p.m. at night. So I was trying to make content, run this YouTube show, and run a creative Fortnite map team. A few months before Fortnite changed how they paid out map creators, I was like, I just want to step away from this. I just gave the maps to like the team. I was like, you manage it. I'll hold like a small equity amount in the maps for like the next year or so, just to still earn a bit of money. And then like a few months later, like the amount of money we were earning per month from maps like 10x'd.
Oh my.
And it was like giant money suddenly. I was like, what have I done? And like in hindsight, I always wanted to move away. So I probably would have always moved away from it. But if I'd stayed in that position now, like could have made so much money. So that's my only regret. So to answer your question, I was in early, left at the complete wrong time, and now it's so competitive because people know you can make millions a month from maps. If you've got a big map, that it's quite hard. But I want to get back into it. Like I want to, for my own sanity, say that I have a map. I'm back in the creative space. I just have a map that I work on, even if it's not crazy big, just to know that I've not left that space behind.
You'll get. I'm sure you'll get a successful one.
Yeah, I just want one that's like semi-successful. Like
you're gonna do your reverse engineering that you always do.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, exactly. Let me cook.
Because it's similar to YouTube, kind of, from what I've seen. There was a point of time where I looked into it, but it seems like the thumbnail.
Yeah, exactly.
The theme that you build your map around, it's based on the trends. So.
That's it. Like I want to sit. I don't have enough time to do it, but at some point this year, I've already got an idea of what map I'll try and gun for, like a theme, like the kind of map I want to try and make. I want to try and execute it, and you never know. You never know.
We'll be waiting.
Watch this space. Yeah.
That's awesome. Last on I guess the financial stuff, but what era? I'm curious of YouTube was like the highest CPM. I mean, I know now YouTube CPM is just higher. Period.
Yeah, I think Call of Duty had crazy views, but the money was never comparative to like maybe the last 5 or 6 years, because the CPM, like the cost you were getting per 1,000 views was just a lot less. I think my biggest months ever were the 200 million view months of like peak Fortnite in 2018. There was a month in 2019 where Apex Legends came out and Fortnite got so scared that they changed everyone's creator code from 5% knockback to you to 20%.
Yeah.
For like, I think it was 3 weeks or something. And they also gave out a free wrap for anyone that just went to the item shop and put in the code.
Yeah.
So for that month, I was like, go to the item shop, put in code Alia, you're getting a free wrap.
Yeah.
And that was insane. And then also the month I launched my icon skin. Those like 3 periods are like my biggest earning months ever. But in terms of like YouTube CPM specifically, I think COVID hit hard. Like the amount of money you were making during COVID was like, went down to like maybe 20, 30% of what it was pre-COVID.
Wow.
And ad rates have like slowly been going back up since. But I'd say now is pretty good, to be honest, if you're placing mid-rolls correctly, if you're making your videos quite long.
Is it like the reaction videos versus the Fortnite? What video style, or is it all the same?
I think it's really similar for me, at least.
Okay.
I think there's niches like finance and maybe like golf and stuff like that, like sporting, where you can shift like product that costs a lot of money, where you can get really high CPMs. But length of video is a big one. Like we do a lot of 1 hour videos across both Fortnite and reaction. I don't want to give too much away, but I know one creator, I'll be vague as I can. There's one creator that's done a multiple hour long, so it's more than an hour, it's like several hours long video. There's tens of millions of views that's made like, that one video is made over like $1 million, just one single video. So if you can make a long video that is interesting enough, like you're making more money, basically, is the short answer. I
had and I think a YouTuber especially goes crazy whenever I tell a YouTuber about this, but there was a guy from the finance, Jordan Welch. I did a video with him, an interview, so he shared it. Where we kind of ran through some of his CPMs.
Oh wow, yeah.
He had an not CPM, because there's CPM, which is like the $2 per 1,000 views, right? Was what the average was, but the RPM is what you actually make.
The RPM,
which would be like $1 out of the $2. His RPM was, I think, $80 or $90.
That's insane.
So he had a video that had like, I don't remember at this point, I think it was like 1 million views. And it made like $400,000.
Oh wow, that's just
off 1 million views.
That's
1 million views. I don't know the math. Maybe I check it, something like that. But I was like, imagine. Obviously, there's a reason that RPM is so high, because it's like very specific how to build your Shopify account. But
I think comparatively, Fortnite and reaction sits anywhere between like 6 and 7 maybe, and then if it's a little bit longer, it's 1 hour. You could maybe get up to like 10 plus maybe.
A lot of people maybe don't realize that there's some people that get like 10,000 views a video, but their RPM's like 50.
Insane. They're making good money from it.
It's very crazy. Well, you've shared a lot. We appreciate it. I think it's really cool to see where you're at now versus where you started. You by yourself. You got the whole team, the whole system.
Yeah.
I mean, even that, like you said, the fact that you're taking the weekends off.
Yeah.
Very cool to see. Very cool to see the evolution.
Yeah.
And again, I think there's a lot, hopefully the people that are out there like you that are taking notes on this maybe.
Yeah.
Like you were when you wanted to start. I think there's a lot that you kind of gave some free game. So
yeah. And
appreciate you sharing it.
The thing now that I don't really talk much about like stuff like this, because for me, YouTube is like work.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, and it does help with their success, I'm not going to lie, like a lot of streamers, their life is so integrated into their work that there's massive overlap. And I think the more time I spent in this space, the more there's like a big gap and a big segregation between my personal life and my work life. I want to work really hard, but I don't necessarily want to share with the world what's going on in my personal life. Like I want to switch my PC off, go and hang out with my kids, go and hang out with my wife, and have that like separation. but still work really hard and be as successful as I can in that space as well.
I think it's the best balance.
Yeah,
Again, everyone's different, but there's a lot of YouTubers, their whole life is on camera.
Yeah, and like I worry for them a little bit. I'm like, that's just can be really dangerous if you're not careful. But yeah, like you don't have to do that.
Yeah.
I don't do that, and like you can work really hard and not have to disclose a lot of your personal life to still see a lot of success. But yeah, I see it all the time with the younger creators. I'm like, oh my gosh, you literally showing them your front of your house or something. It's like that scares me just seeing that.
Again, you don't know until you get swatted or until you get hacked. And again, you know, your experience is shown. 15 plus years. Still arguably at your peak right now, right? Which is really cool to say.
Trying.
No, it's really cool. You still got a very amazing, you know, machine going in your channel.
Thank you. Yeah.
Congrats, and it's been awesome to watch. And
thank you.
Again, I appreciate you taking the time.
No problem. It's good fun.
I guess my last question is, how long do you think you want to be making content for? Because you know, you mentioned that you like to do the VC stuff. So should we expect to see you another 5-10 years, or?
I think so. I think when you're used to when I'm so used to doing what I'm doing. When you see the numbers and the money come in, I like almost hold myself to that standard of like, I need to be sitting at a similar rate each month. Not that I'm spending loads of money each month, but it's just like an internal thing. It's like, I can't drop below this. But I think the big thing that plays in my mind is like, my kids are quite young now, but it will get to a point where they'll be in school and their friends will watch my videos. And it's like, if that starts to just become a bit weird, I would consider like adjusting or stepping back or changing what I do if it's affecting like my kids' lives and how they're interacting with their friends. That's the only thing that I think would hold me back. But to be honest with you, I'll keep going for as long as I can. Whatever the next game is, GTA 6 is around the corner.
Oh man, that's
I've done a bit of GTA 5 content before, so like I'm ready for anything. So hopefully I'll be here for as long as possible.
A third massive spike coming. I'd love to hear.
Uncle Ali, 100 years old, making videos.
we're already basically 100 years old in this space.
Yeah, exactly.
So. Well, congrats. Thank you for taking the time. Good luck in the Pro-Am.
Thank you.
Hopefully by the time this goes up, you won the Pro-Am.
Yeah, come on.
You and Mom Girl. Thank you. I appreciate it.
No worries. Cheers.